Welcome to Coffee with Viking. I am Mike. Cheers. Samson, the Philistine killer. Judges 15:15. He found the jawbone of a recently killed donkey. He picked it up and killed 1,000 Philistines with it. Samson is an odd hero. He's not a leader like the other judges. He's a maverick, a one-man army, and he's not interested in spiritual things. He's driven by animal instincts, especially by the insatiable desire for women, which was his downfall, as it has been a lot of our downfalls in life. And for revenge, as the story of Samson comes to a close on. Yet his story begins with the promise of hope, and it ends with that hope fulfilled. You will become pregnant and give birth to a son, an angel tells the woman who will become Samson's mother. He will be dedicated to God as a Nazarite from birth. He will begin to rescue Israel from the Philistines. Judges 13:5. As a lifelong Nazarite, Samson isn't supposed to cut his hair. And as long as he keeps this vow, God will bless him with incredible strength. Samson is born at a turning point in Israel's history. Philistines and Israelites are learning to live together in peace, but it's with Israel as the lesser nation, a nation in danger of becoming assimilated into Philistine culture. Philistines have both the stronger army and a secret weapon, knowledge of how to forge iron weapons that can slice through Israel's soft bronze weapons. Samson's early years actually show how well the two nations were getting along. He marries a Philistine over the objections of his parents, but it's at the week-long marriage celebration that Samson starts to sour on the Philistines. Samson bets all 30 of his Philistine guests that they can't solve his riddle. On the line are 30 sets of clothes. His guests cheat. They extort the answer from his bride by threatening to kill her. So Samson storms off to a neighboring Philistine town where he kills 30 men and takes their clothes to pay his debt. And he abandons his bride and goes back home to his parents. By the time Samson cools off and returns to his bride, her father has married her to the best man. Revenge takes over and rests on Samson's story. Revenge takes over the rest of Samson's story. I cannot be blamed for everything I am going to do to you Philistines, Samson tells his ex-father-in-law in Judges 15:3. Samson torches Philistine farms, vineyards, and olive groves. Philistines retaliate by torching his ex-wife and her father. Then they start terrorizing Israelites, who eventually convince Samson to surrender. But once in custody, Samson breaks his ropes and kills 1,000 Philistines. Their iron swords prove no match for Samson's improvised weapon, a donkey's jawbone. Philistine iron can't stop him, but Philistine flesh manages quite nicely. Samson falls in love with Delilah, a Philistine who loves money more than him. Philistine leaders offer her a reward equal to several $1,000s if she can find the source of Samson's strength. She nags it out of him, cuts his hair while he's napping, and turns him over to the Philistines later. They parade him as a war trophy in front of thousands crowded into a temple in his only two eyes. Samson pushes Months later, they parade him as a war trophy in front of thousands crowded in the temple. His only recorded prayer, Samson asked for revenge. Let me pay back the Philistines for the loss of my two eyes, which was Judges 16:28. Samson pushes on twin support pillars, which were probably towers of stone blocks stacked on top of one another. That was a common design in Samson's day. The temple collapses, killing Samson and more Philistines than he had killed during his lifetime. Israel is no longer in danger of a polite assimilation into Philistine life. The two nations are now suspicious of each other and evolving into enemies. Years later, King David will finish the job Samson started. He will break the back of Philistine power, and it will be the Philistines, not the Jews, who become a lost nation. Assimilation into Middle Eastern culture. Samson's weakness on this side note here. Delilah holds the braids of Samson's hair, which she clips off while he was sleeping. Samson had to keep a vow to God that he'd never cut his hair in order to keep his extreme strength. But Delilah, pretending to be the love of his life, weaseled the secret out of him and collected a big reward. And there's a photo. Stay blessed. Stay caffeinated. Much love.